Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Honorable Rektor of Universitas Brawijaya, Profesor Widodo SSI, MSI, PhD, Med Science.
The Honorable the Fifth Vice Rector, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Babang Susilo, MSc AGR.
The Honorable Dean Faculty of Vocational Studies, Profesor Dr. Unti Ludikdo, SE, MSc AK.
The Honorable all Deans of Faculties in Universitas Brawijaya.
Vice Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. Ulfa Andayani, SSI, MSI.
Vice Dean of Finance Affairs, Muhammad Khalid Mawardi, SOS, MAB, PhD.
Vice Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Relpo Romi Hermawan, SOS, MAP.
Head of Creative Industry and Digital Department, Insinyur I Dewa Made Widya MT.
Head of Business and Hospitality Department, San Rudianto, SE, MSA AK.
Chief Committee of Bravo 2022, Dr. Dini Kurnia Irmawati, SPD, MPD, and the audience.
Today, there will be 4 speakers who will present the material. They are a keynote speaker and follow with 3 invited speakers. First, Professor Adrian David Siok from I University, Japan as keynote speaker.
The next is Associate Professor Dr. Basri Rashid from University Utara, Malaysia as the 3rd invited speaker.
Next, Professor Dr. Ismail Rakib Karas from Karabük University, Turkey as the 2nd invited speaker.
Next, Professor Dr. Unti Ludikdo, SE, MSI AK from Universitas Brawijaya, Indonesia as the 1st invited speaker. Good morning and welcome to
Bravo 2022
International Conference on Entrepreneurship,
Innovation and
Creativity.
First of all, let us pray and praise to our God, because of His blessing and mercy, we can come together without any obstacle to attend Bravo 2022.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce ourselves. I am Putri Dwi and my friends.
My name is Geraldo Kalontong.
And my name is Koirunisa. We will be on duty as today master ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bravo 2022 International Conference on Entrepreneurship, Innovations and Creativity is the 2nd International Bravo Conference conducted by the Faculty Vocational Studies, Universitas Brawijaya.
Bravo 2022 will be held on hybrid basis with the theme
Global Economic Awakening in the Post-Pandemic Era through Creativity and Innovation. This conference held for 2 days on the 4th and 5th August 2022. Bravo 2022, in addition to international webinar events, also had a paper competition for presenters, participants, and student participants. And this event, held by a keynote speaker and 4 invited speakers from abroad.
Exactly. Now, let us read the rundown of this conference. The first is opening.
The second is welcoming speech by the Chief Committee of Bravo 2022.
The next, welcoming speech by Dean Faculty of Vocational Studies, Universitas Brawijaya.
The 4th is welcoming speech by the Rector of Universitas Brawijaya.
And the next is photo session.
The important one, main event.
And the last one is closing.
Let us open this conference with Basmalah together.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
The first agenda, leading Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Would you please kindly stand up?
Please be seated. Next, we are going to see the performance by traditional dance Gambyong Parianom.
Gambang Piarianom is a form of classical Japanese dance originating from the Surakarta area and is usually performed for performance or welcoming guests.
Hope you enjoy the performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, after we see traditional dance of Gambiong Parianom, we also want to entertain you with a wonderful singing performance by the students from Faculty of Vocational Studies, Universitas Brawijaya. They will sing a medley song of Tanah Airku, arrangement by Muhammad Sultan Pragas Aldiansyah. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the show.
Tanah air ku tidak ku lupakan,
Kan terkenang selama hidupku. Biarpun saya pergi jauh, tidak akan hilang dari kalbu. Tanahku yang ku cintai, engkau ku hargai. Oh, hey, yeah. Hidup sejahtera di katulistiwa. Alam berseri-seri, bunga beraneka, bagaikan gambaran bertajuk cahaya jingga, surya di cakrawala. Selalu berseri,
alam indah berbadi katulistiwa,
lihat tulistiwa.
sejuk damai, wajah air kawan,
Burung berkicau riang,
mengembun surga, syukur kehadirat Tuhan pencipta, atas anugerahnya bersatulah semua seperti dahulu, lihatlah ke muka keinginanmu yang terjangkau semua, bersatulah semua seperti dahulu, lihatlah ke muka keinginanmu
tak terjangkau semua. Aku bahagia, hidup sejahtera di katulistiwa.
hidup sejahtera di
Aku bahagia, hidup sejahtera di katulistiwa.
hidup sejahtera di
Aku bahagia.
Thank you. Wow, that was a wonderful performance, right?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. The Honorable Rector of Universitas Brawijaya, Vice Rector for Research and Innovation Affairs, the Dean of Faculty of Vocational Studies, Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, Vice Dean for Finance Affairs, Vice Deans for Student Affairs, the Dean of Faculty of Computer Science, and all Deans of Faculties in Universitas Brawijaya, the Director of International Office, and our keynote speaker, as well as invited speakers. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to our second Bravo International Conference on Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Creativity. I would like to extend our special warmth to our extended presenters, participants, and also keynote and invited speakers to be here, to be willing to share your precious time in joining our conference. Bravo is actually our annual conference held by Faculty of Vocational Studies, focusing on entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity. This year's topic is about the awakening of global economy in the post-pandemic era through creativity and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past 2 years, COVID-19 has switched our normal life into the so-called pandemic era. We have a lot of limitations in all aspects in our life. And today, as we know that this pandemic era has been switched into the so-called post-pandemic era, which demands us to be stronger, much stronger, and improve our problem-solving skills to survive in our life. We have to wake up and support our global economy through innovation and creativity. I'm greatly grateful to inform you all that this conference has involved 11 countries: Indonesia, China, Malaysia, Turkey, Japan, the Philippines, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Nigeria. I would like to express our deepest gratitude to all participants, presenters, committees, our organizing committees, to hold this great event today. Lastly, I do hope this conference can be used as a medium for not only researchers, but also academicians, students, and practitioners to share experiences and insights dealing with how to be much more creative, innovative, to survive in the post-pandemic era. Once again, welcome to Bravo International Conference. Thank you very much.
Thanks to Ms. Dini as the Bravo Committee for the welcome speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we will listen to remarks from the Dean Faculty of Vocational Studies, Professor Dr. Untilu Digdo, SA MSI AK. The time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, and hope God bless with us. The Honorable Rektor of Brawijaya, in this time delegate to Vice Rector, Research and Innovation Affairs, Dean of Faculty of Computer Science, Pak Wayan, thank you for your coming, and all of deans in Brawijaya University attend in Zoom meeting, and the others delegate from Dean from Brawijaya University. I know Pak Sakti from Law Studies. Thank you, Pak Sakti. Special our distinguished speaker, Prof. Adrian David Chok from I University, Japan. Now maybe attend in a Zoom meeting. Thank you, Prof. Adrian. And then Prof. Basri Rashid from Universitas Utara Malaysia, Professor Ismail Rakib Karas from Karabuk University, Professor Bing Wang from Hwasong University, and Vice Dean, all of Vice Dean from Brawijaya University, and the head of department, the head of study program, and all of lecturer, and special all of participants. Thank you for your coming in this event. I am Professor Dikto, as a Dean of Faculty of Vocational Study, being honored to be here for second Bravo International Conference on Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Creativity. Bravo aligns with our vision and mission in the internationalization program to improve the quality of curriculum and learning by increasing the number of international seminars and publications. This conference aims to bring together leading academics, researchers, and practitioners to exchange and share their experience and research results on all aspects of entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity. This event also provides a premier interdisciplinary platform for researchers, practitioners, and educators to present and discuss the most recent innovations, trends, and concerns, as well as practical challenges encountered and solutions through the conference with the theme Awakening of the Global Economy in the post-pandemic era through creativity and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, lastly, I do hope this activity will be successful and run smoothly. And once again, thank you and have a great day ahead for all of us. Thank you, especially for organizing committee and all of students involved in our event. And then I would like Pak Bambang as Vice Rector, Innovation and Research and Innovation Affairs to open this event. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Professor Dikto for the welcome speech.
For the last speech today, we will delivered by the fifth Vice Rector, Professor Dr. Insinyur Bambang Susilo, MSc AGR. To Mr. Bambang, the time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies Deans, Professor Unti Ludikto, and Excellencies Deans, Faculty of Science, Computer Science, Professor Wayan Firdaus, MSc, all file deans, keynote speaker, Professor Adrian David Kok, and also Prof. Unti Ludikto as well. The steering committee, Dr. Dini Kurnia Irawati and teams, all invited speaker, dignitaries, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our university, it is great honor for me to extend to you all a very warm welcome to Universitas Brawijaya. We are currently recovering from COVID-19 pandemic that has influenced us in many aspects, including teaching, learning, and conferences as well. However, the Faculty of Vocational Study had successfully managed and organized all previous events, ICAAA, SVE, and Bravo 2021, including the online conferences by using high-quality online platform. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the Conferences Committee and Faculty of Vocational Study for organizing this international conference. This year, Bravo International Conference on Entrepreneur Innovation and Creativity addresses an important topic: the awakening of global sectors in the post-pandemic era through entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation. I believe that this topic covers in-depth and current information on advanced researchers and innovators. As one of reputable state universities in Indonesia, Universitas Brawijaya commits to contribute in finding solutions for major problems faced by our nation and the global community today, while also preparing for the future challenges. High-quality research and innovation of science, technology, and arts on related fields will become a great foundation to tackle many issues now and the future. Further collaboration, multidisciplinary study will comprehensively aid in solving those issues effectively and efficiently. This conference takes the privileged opportunity to transfer knowledge from academics, professionals, and industries to address those challenges. Hopefully, this conference, through the main and parallel sessions, will significantly contribute to promoting and engaging the critical roles of awakening global sector in Indonesia. Universitas Brawijaya plays an important role in supporting sustainable development through various entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, which are integrated with our roadmap. However, we realize that our effort for a better world will have greater impact with more collaboration in the national and international level. Therefore, it is an honor for a Faculty of Vocational Study to be host the conference to disseminate knowledge, research, result, and technology, and exchange ideas and share success stories among us and stakeholders from around the globe. Finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, this international conference is officially open. I wish you all enjoying the Bravo conference, having fruitful experience and networking from this event. Again, build networking and expand the networking. By networking, we are doing together. Together, we are better. Together, we are stronger. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We thank you to Dr. Insinyur Bambang Susilo MSc AGR for the welcome speech and the opening of this conference today.
All right. Now we are going to the next agenda, that is a photo session. For participants, please prepare yourself and don't forget, for online audience, please turn on your camera. And we also invite Miss Susi to guide us, right?
Exactly. We would like to invite Miss Susi to guide these photo sessions. So to Miss Susi, the time is yours. Please welcome to the stage.
Pak Wadek, dia di atas mawon Prof, di atas panggung aja. Pak Wadek, monggo Pak Wadek, kemudian Bapak Kadep, monggo. Ibu undangan, monggo, monggo. Pak Kadep, monggo, Pak Haji, Bu Ketua, Wakil, monggo. Monggo. Ayo, maju Mbak. Tak atur di sini. Yang perempuan bisa di sebelah kanan, yang laki-laki di sebelah kiri. Monggo Pak, sebelah kiri dipenuhi dulu. Di sebelah sana, sana, J. J. J. Pak, Aci di situ, oke. J. Monggo untuk bagian fotonya. Maskernya dicopot dulu aja. Ya. Senyum yang paling manis J, Bapak Ibu. Saya abadikan belum. J. Yang manis adalah senyumnya itu kelihatan giginya semua, Prof. Ngapunten. Jadi J. Siap. J ngoten. 10. Ya aku. Siap J, Bapak Ibu. Silva udah siap. Oke. 1, 2, 3. Oke. J, Prof. Mantun niki, Prof. Baiklah, yang berikutnya. Sambil gini, belum. Sambil gini, saya ambil dulu yang ini, J. Siap. Bu Dini, Pak. Oh ya, Pak Haji ketinggalan kereta. 1, 2, 3. Siap. Nah, sekarang bumerang, J. Untuk yang terakhir, J. Gerakannya, ngapunten nggih Pak Warek. Jadi ada gerakan love gini Pak Warek, tangannya. Terus dari sini kita tarik ke depan. Set. Tapi nggak boleh ditarik, hanya gini aja. Ngaten J? Siap. Enggak, kakinya enggak ke depan. Jadi yang ke depan hanya ininya aja. Hanya apa itu? Hanya tangannya aja. Siap J, hitungan ketiga langsung set gitu J. Oke. 1, 2, 3. Set. J, matur nuwun sanget Bapak Ibu.
Thank you so much, Ms. Susi, for guiding the photo session.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind you to all the participants to do attendance list first. They already displayed in the chat Zoom column.
And we also want to remind to every participants that you all have to pay attention in every station because there will be some door prizes to every active participant in Q&A session.
Ladies and gentlemen, next, there will be a keynote speech by Professor Andrian David Chok from University, Japan. With the title, Every Sense, Everywhere, Human Communication. For this occasion, will be guided by Ms. Wuri Chaya Handaru, SST MDS, as moderator. To Ms. Wuri, the time is yours.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to all of you for joining Bravo 2022. International Conference, Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Creativity. Well, before we start our presentation, let me introduce myself. I am Muricaya Handaru, SST MDS, as a moderator of keynote speaker in Bravo 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation today is about the electrifying Nikola Tesla. Now, I will read one by one the agenda for this session. The one is opening, the second is introduction, the third is presentation time with duration 30 minutes, the fourth is question and answer session with duration 15 minutes, and the fifth is closing. Ladies and gentlemen, and now the second session is introduction. I will explain the biography for keynote speaker. He is Prof. Adrian David Chok, PhD. Prof. Adrian David Chok, PhD is a director of the Imagineering Institute, Malaysia, full professor in University Tokyo, and CEO of Nikola Tesla Technologies Corporation. He is founder and director of the Mixed Reality Lab Singapore. He was formerly professor of pervasive computing, University of London, full professor and executive dean at Keio University, Graduate School of Media Design, and associate professor in the National University of Singapore. He has previously worked in real-time system, soft computing, and embedded computing in Mitsubishi Electric Research Labs, Japan. In 2019, the Governor General of Australia, representative of Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II, has awarded Australia highest honor, the Order of Australia, to Adrian David Chok for his contribution to internal education and research. He has been working on research covering mixed reality, human-computer interfaces, wearable computer, and ubiquitous computing, fuzzy systems, embedded system, and power electronics. So, to shorten time, the next agenda is presentation session for Prof. Adrian David Chok, PhD. Prof. Adrian David Chok, PhD, please take your time in 30 minutes to present your topic.
Thank you very much, and I'm very honored to be invited to this conference. Thank you to the Dean and everyone else who is organizing the conference. Thank you, Wuri, for your great speeches, for your great introduction, sorry. So today, because this conference is about innovation, creativity, entrepreneurship, I want to talk about someone who can give great inspiration to all of us, especially the young people starting their careers, to be able to be very creative and entrepreneurial, and to have a great creativity. And the person I'm talking about is a person you may have heard. Of course, you heard maybe the Tesla car, but the Tesla car is named after Nikola Tesla, probably one of the most creative geniuses of our time and great inventor. And I think he can be a fantastic inspiration for everyone, because even today, his technologies greatly affect all of society. So we can take great inspiration from him. Let me just briefly outline Nikola Tesla's life. He was born in what was then Croatia. He's a Serbian background. He discovered the AC motor, which we still use everywhere today, in about 1882. He was selected to the famous Columbian Exposition to show his AC electricity in 1893. In 1894, he developed huge power station in Niagara Falls to generate electricity from the running water. So he made hydroelectricity more than 100 years ago. He invented it, and then later in his life, he did more and more experiments on fantastic inventions. First of all, in Cold Springs, Colorado, and then he built a tower which was not finished, which which is the original internet, I think, because it would provide worldwide data and also power. So Nikola Tesla basically invented almost everything we use today, including the internet. And he passed away, unfortunately, in 1943. Nikola Tesla also lived through the last pandemic in 1918, the Spanish flu. So just like you are living through the pandemic, Nikola Tesla also lived through the pandemic. So we can take inspiration that we can get through this pandemic and create a new society. Nikola Tesla, I think, took very great inspiration from his mother. He was homeschooled by his mother. He nearly died when he was a young child of a disease, but he lived, and he said that a lot of his inspiration came from his mother, who was a very intelligent woman. He had a fascinating mind. He said that he could create new inventions without any drawings or experiments. He could just do it in his mind, which is a very unique feature. And I said, and Nikola Tesla said his inspiration was his mother, who he said was a very, very great woman, and she was an inventor. And you can see where Nikola Tesla lived in Croatia. Nikola Tesla's father was a priest, and in those days, if your father was a priest, normally the son would become a priest as well. But Nikola had different ideas. He wanted to be an electrician, and his father said no. He didn't want him to become an electrician. But Nikola got very sick with cholera, and his father promised him, if you can survive, you can become an electrician. So Nikola Tesla lived, and then he began to study electricity. He studied it in Vienna. By the way, Nikola Tesla never finished university. All right, so this shows that it's in you. You can be creative and innovative and entrepreneurial, even if you don't finish university. So his first great invention was the AC. AC means alternating current, polyphase system for motors and generators. Everywhere in the world uses AC power today. So everywhere in the world is really indebted to Nikola Tesla for inventing this incredible invention. And he said that he came up with this idea just in a flash of lightning, and he drew the diagram in the sand of the AC polyphase system. But as I said, everywhere today we use AC power, we use AC motors, from powering your air conditioner, refrigerator, electric vehicles. Still, Tesla's invention is one of the most greatest inventions of all time. So after that great invention, which was of course patented and developed and became a commercial product, Tesla went to America, and at that time, everything was happening in New York City. So he arrived in New York City at the age of 29, and he had no money. So he was digging ditches in the road just to survive. But finally, one of his friends wrote a letter to Thomas Edison. You probably know Thomas Edison as a famous inventor as well of the light bulb. And he wrote a letter, and he said, "I know two great men, and you're one of them. The other one is this young man," meaning Tesla. So Edison hired Tesla to work in his company. This also shows having very good connections is really important. You can be the greatest genius in the world, but you need someone to connect you to get you a job or get you funding. So become very good friends with your dean and your professor, and also people in the companies. They can help you to reach your dreams. So Tesla worked with Thomas Edison for a few years. They actually had a great conflict because Thomas Edison was a little bit old-fashioned. He thought DC power was better than AC power, but Tesla was maybe a man who knew ahead of his time AC power had much more advantages. So their relationship didn't last very long because they had a great conflict about AC and DC power. And actually, you can watch a movie about this story, which was released maybe 3 years ago, called The Current Wars. I highly recommend you to download, watch this movie called The Current Wars. There we go, The Current Wars. Okay, so that's basically between AC and DC current. Who won? Tesla won the current wars, of course, because we all use AC power. And so he was chosen by the to light up the whole exposition using his AC power. Of course, Thomas Edison probably was very, very angry because he was not selected to use DC power. I think Tesla was at the height of his fame at this age, about 36. He invented the AC power, the AC motor, and it was being used, starting to be used all over the world. This shows another thing. Try to make use of the years that you have in your 20s and 30s. Most inventors do great work in those years, the 20s and the 30s. And Tesla was similar as well. So, as I mentioned before, there's a movie called The Current Wars, which I highly recommend you to watch. And it's about Edison wanting DC power and Tesla saying AC power is better. Tesla had a second great backer, which was George Westinghouse. You probably still know there is a Westinghouse company. It's named after the original George Westinghouse. So Westinghouse gave Tesla a lot of money to develop his AC power, and it ended up becoming the main. Thomas Edison, there's no Edison company anymore, but Thomas Edison's company became GE, General Electric, which is still around today. Now, there were some kind of tricks involved. So Thomas Edison wanted people to think that Tesla's AC power was dangerous. So they had a public exhibition in New York where they killed an elephant with AC power, and also the first man executed with electricity, it used AC power. Now, of course, this was a bit of trickery because DC power also can kill animals and people, but Thomas Edison tried these kind of public displays to try to make people think Tesla was very dangerous with AC power. But of course, yes, AC power can be dangerous, but so can DC power. Here's the Columbia exhibition I mentioned. It would have been fantastic. Wouldn't you love to be alive at that time and for the very first time to see electric light? And it was all lit up with Tesla's AC power. He then went on to build a huge hydroelectric generating plant in Niagara Falls. You might know Niagara Falls, one of the biggest waterfalls in the world. So he used that power to generate electricity. Still, it's there today. If you go to Niagara Falls, you can see his generator still being used. After this time, Tesla started to become more looking at not so much commercial products, but looking at electricity and information and really inventing the future. So he started to work more on his personal projects in a laboratory in New York City. You can see some photos here. One is Tesla passing 500,000 volts through his body in 1898. Another one is the famous author Mark Twain, who was a good friend of Tesla, visiting his laboratory in 1895. Tesla also invented the X-ray. So here you can see one of the first X-rays. There's someone's foot in a shoe, and he used this X-ray beams to develop that photograph. And Tesla also developed one of the first logic gate in the world. He tried to make a machine which was a automated ship, but the patent shows a logic gate in there. It's the first time in the world Tesla invented a logic gate. Why is this important? All computers, all digital, everything related to our digital economy is based on logic gates, binary logic gates, ones and zeros. And Tesla invented it more than 100 years ago. Tesla wanted to do some bigger experiments, so he went to Colorado Springs, and he designed some experiments where he tried to send signals around the world using wireless electricity, and also he tried to detect signals from space, from outer space. Here's a good quote: "The gods of the storm burst forth with one of the greatest electrical displays ever witnessed, and for an hour the heavens were lit with living fire." So now we automatically assume we have wireless data, like your phone is connected to the wireless data and Wi-Fi, etc. Tesla thought about this and invented this in Colorado Springs. So I had this idea which we still haven't done yet, but it's possible. We can use the Earth's atmosphere as a way to conduct data and electricity. So Tesla had the idea to use the ionosphere to send data anywhere in the world wirelessly. We still haven't got there. So still Tesla's inventions, not all of them have come to fruition, and a lot of ideas for us to do in the future. Here's more pictures of Tesla with his demonstrations. So in 1905, Tesla said he wants to make a worldwide wireless web. What does this sound like? This sounds like the internet. Yes, it's true. Tesla really invented the internet way before his time. So he was working on this more than 100 years ago. He said, it's not a dream, it's a simple feat of scientific electrical engineering, only expensive, blind, faint-hearted, doubting world. So about 70 years later was the first internet, DARPANET, which was in America by Department of Defense. And so we owe this to Tesla's original thinking and creativity. Here we go. Here's some interesting pictures. Tesla's Tesla's wireless world system, and one of the towers that he wanted to create to send wireless signals around the world. So J.P. Morgan, again, you probably know J.P. Morgan is a very, very big bank. It's the biggest bank in the world. And it was founded by this person, the original J.P. Morgan. He gave Tesla 150,000 US, which at that time was a lot of money. Maybe it was worth a few $1 million, to build this tower to send wireless signals around the world. But unfortunately, Tesla ran out of money, and J.P. Morgan wouldn't give him any more money to finish his project. So we still, although we owe the legacy of the internet to Tesla, he couldn't finish it himself because he ran out of money. And also at the same time, there was a person in Italy called Marconi who he said he invented the radio, but actually if you look back through the patents, Tesla submitted patent for radio before Marconi. You can see on the left-hand side, Tesla submitted the radio patent in 1897. We're still using radio. Your wireless phone is basically a radio receiver and transmitter. So again, Tesla was way ahead of its time and invented technologies that affect our world even today. So Tesla was a man ahead of his time. He was born more than 100 years ago, and he basically produced AC electricity, AC power, AC generators, radio, logic gates, and teleautomation, and he invented the idea of wireless communication around the world, which is basically the internet. So a very great man and way ahead of his time. I hope now that you know more about Tesla, you can be inspired yourself to make great inventions, to be creative, and to be a great innovator for now and for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Adrian, for sharing your topic about the electrifying Nikola Tesla. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are come to the question and answer session. There will be just one session for 1 or 2 questions because we just have 15 minutes. Any question from ballroom? Okay. Bu Novita.
Okay, thank you very much. You said that Tesla is one of the inventor that the invention is become the beginning of very powerful technology such as wireless until now. So now we already in internet era or in society 4.0 to 5.0, right? And all of the thing is can be remote using internet. So what do you think, or do you have any idea about the development of 5.0 society today? Thank you. Maybe this is my question.
That's a great question. Thank you. Well, yes, I think we have come a very long way in terms of electric inventions. So, internet, high definition digital television, virtual reality, computer graphics, electronic games. So I think there will be more and more developments. For example, virtual reality, I think will become, everyone will have virtual reality in their house in the future. Maybe you never have to leave your home. You do everything through virtual reality. But I think, so these are all still, the roots go back to Tesla, right? So what is the next Tesla? I think the next big change of society has been shown to us in a very, very, very big way since 2020. And that is, we still, even in this very modern time, a tiny virus, tiny size, can beat us, right? Can hit more powerful than all of our inventions, and more powerful than every man. All right. So I think it was shown to us through the pandemic. We still have no idea how to. We have still very, very little idea how to overcome viruses and pandemics. Who would believe that we still would have plagues in the 21st century? So I think the next big era will be in the era of medical science, epidemiology, and also inventors, entrepreneurs to make new inventions in medical science. I think that this was shown to us since 2020. We have to. We have not. We can do incredible things with the internet, but we can't save lives from a tiny virus. So this is I think, a very powerful message, maybe from God.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Adrian and Bu Novita. Maybe we have one question from Pak Aji. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Adrian. Okay, thank you, Mr. Adrian. Good morning. I am Susan Aji from Banking and Finance Studies program. Mr. Adrian, as long as I know, Tesla is one of the genius human who has noble ideas but has a life less luck. One of the Tesla dreams is to make electricity generators from free for human. That is called electricity free for human. And Tesla is the inventor of what is called the Tesla coil, as long as I know. And the system that allow wireless transfer of electricity are still popular in scientific practice today. But the question is, can the Tesla coil idea for free electricity still be realized today when the electricity prices are high? No. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, that was one of the reasons that in one of my slides I said JP Morgan stopped to give Tesla money, and he ran out of money because he found out that Tesla wanted to make a worldwide wireless power machine, so to give free electricity to everybody. And JP Morgan said, how am I going to make money from that if you're giving the electricity away for free? So I think that first of all, there is technical challenges to making wireless power, and I think that they are quite difficult challenges. Second of all, who would build, as JP Morgan said, who is going to fund such a project? Because you can't make money from it, all right? People will get free power, and so maybe some government may create such a system to generate free electric power for the citizens. But the main thing is that first, there is some technical difficulties, but two, the main reason is no company wants to make such a system because they cannot charge for the power.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we are come to the last agenda. We would like to say thank you for keynote speaker, Prof. Adrian David Chok, PhD, and all of the audiences for active participation in the ballroom Zoom meeting. I will read out the conclusion of presentation today is the development of electrical technology has started a long time ago, and human as developing research who make Tesla develop, as we know, one of them is electric car brands worldwide. In the future, we don't know what change will happen by implementing electrifying Tesla. Hopefully, the seminar from Prof. Adrian David Chok will give benefit for us. Thank you for attention. Stay healthy and see you. I turn the next session to MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Professor Adrian. The speech that has been delivered is very insightful, and we hope that it will be useful for all of us. And we also thanks to Ms. Wuri Cahya as moderator.
Ladies and gentlemen, after we listen to the keynote speech, now this is the moment for presentation that will be delivered by Associate Professor Dr. Basri Rashid from University Utara Malaysia, Malaysia, with the title Managing Customer Experience for Hospitality Business, Anticipating Customer Response in Post-COVID-19 Era. And that will be guided by Ms. Desi Krisnia Natalia, SAMM, as moderator. To Ms. Desi, the time is yours.
Thank you for the Master of Ceremony. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, it's the time for the third invited speaker, Associate Professor Basri Rashid. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Desi Krisnia Natalia, SMM, as the moderator of today's session. Let me read the session's rundown. First, introduction. Second, CV of Associate Professor Basri Rashid. Third, presentation. Fourth, question and answer session. And then the last one, closing. So today, title of presentation is Managing Customer Experience for Hospitality Businesses, Anticipating Customer Responses in Post-COVID-19 Era. Let me read the CV of Associate Professor Dr. Basri bin Rashid. So he has right now, he works for University Utara Malaysia, and he has some award. The first one in diploma in hotel and catering management, and then BA in hospitality management, MBA, and the last one PhD business management. The subjects that taught by him are research method in tourism and hospitality, contemporary issues in tourism and hospitality management, management of service process in tourism and hospitality, hospitality seminar, hospitality strategic management, food and beverage cost control, hospitality sales and marketing. Next one, it will be the presentation from Dr. Basri bin Rashid. Time is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Daisy. I hope everybody can hear me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Selamat pagi and very good morning. Yang saya muliakan the Honorable Prof. Widodo, the Rector of Universitas Brawijaya. Of course, also the Honorable Vice Rectors. Then the Dean of Faculty of Vocational Studies, Professor Dr. Unti Ludikdo. Chairman of Bravo 2022, Dr. Dini Kurnia Irmawanti, and her committee members, fellow speakers, presenters, and conference participants. I would like to express my gratitude to the Universitas Brawijaya, especially to the Faculty of Vocational Studies for inviting me to this conference. I'm very honored to be here and to share my views on the topic about COVID-19 in the hospitality business. As Ms. Daisy has mentioned to the audience that I'm from University Utara Malaysia, which is at the north part of Malaysia, near to the border of Thailand. I'm attached with the School of Tourism, Hospitality and Events Management, and I was also the the Dean of the faculty previously. And now I'm doing much of the teaching and research work as well as publication. All right, my area is basically about consumer behavior, customer experience, and analysis of customer experience. And I'm going to share with you about the, this is just an overview, basically about customer experience and focusing in the hospitality industry, whereby you can sort of like imagine that we are in the hotel, restaurant, food service industry, or something related area like that, okay? I'm going to share you my slide. Okay, so my title or my topic of talk will be Managing Customer Experience for Hospitality Businesses, Anticipating Customer Responses in Post-COVID Era. As we know that during COVID-19, our life has been disrupted in many ways, all right? And of course, all businesses being affected as well, okay? So COVID-19 has a lot of impact on us. And within the hospitality and tourism industry, we have seen that COVID-19 has halted the world, hitting the tourism and specifically the hospitality industry. And it hits very severely, which means that with all the problems that caused by COVID-19, a lot of business being affected. Now, the problem started when, as we know, tourism, hospitality, or any sort of business, mainly a lot of business, basically, if we restrict travel, things could start. I mean, the problem could start from that. So travel restrictions, or what we call MCO, Movement Control Order, imposed by most nations, most government, and border closures across the world have caused millions of livelihood and jobs lost. Okay, this is part of the impact of the main problem of COVID-19. Okay, and then we can see there are a lot of loss due to COVID-19 in the tourism and hospitality sector, published by the World Travel and Tourism Council in 2022. They have estimated that more than 100 million jobs were lost, an estimated loss of 5.5 trillions of travel and tourism GDP. Any earnings being lost there, a lot of loss there, 5.5 trillion. Then Malaysia, in terms of Malaysia, for example, if I go back to Malaysian, what I call it, statistic, has experienced losses of approximately 3.37 billion ringgit Malaysia within the first 2 months of MCO. So when we started closing our borders and we start restrict the movement, it means that people can't travel even outside their home. So we lost already 3.37 within the first 2 months of that period. And what we had basically is that 35% of the hotels has been ceased the operation. And this 35% is basically temporarily. And we had experienced also 15% of the hotel operators will not be able to survive, and some of them will close completely. So this basically affects 60% of tourism businesses anyway. Okay, what can we learn from pandemic? So the pandemic itself has caused trouble, and in the future, it will alter our perception about travel, hospitality, especially, and our consumption. Okay, it is expected that post-pandemic hospitality business will emerge in a more cautious manner in terms of its operation. We're talking about policies and procedure. I'm going to describe more on this later on. So, which means that if in the hospitality business, basically, it has, what I call it, we have direct contact with the customers. So how the operation is managed and how the customer perceive the operation will be something important here. Okay, but basically involve policies and procedures, okay, by the management. Okay, and this ultimately will affect people or the customers, of course, in this case, the business operation, the environment, and the host community. So we have a number of stakeholders involved in the hospitality industry or hospitality businesses. So these people will be affected, in not really in terms of like affected there can be a positive and negative way of I call it problems here. But the thing is that everybody that involved with the industry, the stakeholders in this case, will will have to change in some way, or they may change their perception, or they may change their behavior within the industry itself. Right. It is predicted that when the current COVID-19 pandemic crisis subsides, so when the problems slow down, the visitors or the customers in this case would not be as comfortable as before to travel, visit a destination, stay at a hotel, and dine in at the restaurant. So all these behaviors or all these activities will be sort of like altered in a way that people will be more cautious. Maybe they don't feel much comfortable being around people. When we talk about health, hospitality, and tourism, it involves a lot of people. It involves crowd. It involves contact. So people might not be as comfortable as before when they think about COVID-19, and they think about the effect of COVID-19 as well. So this reflects that COVID-19 has altered people's consumption behavior. So in general, it will alter people's consumption behavior. We are talking about consumption behavior before, during, and after later on. Okay, I will go through later on about this. So this session shall offer an insight into the customer experience in terms of their responses during the post-COVID-19 pandemic crisis. Now, what is customer experience? So we're talking about customer experience here. We're talking about the hospitality industry. Yes, you must have some experience about it. All of us has experience about it. But how are we going to face the situation when we have COVID-19, or when the government or all over the world now they declare that, okay, we have to open the economy, we have to open the border, we have to start the economy, so we have to start the business. So how do we feel about it? Okay, so but the thing is that now we're going to look at what is customer experience first. So customer experience is very difficult to is a difficult construct to define and difficult to measure as well, right? Because it involves multiple elements. It has a lot of elements involved into customer experience. It is individualized. It is personal nature. I'm going to discuss about this also later. because different people may have different experience, although they visit, although they consume the same what you call a product or the same service. Okay, all of us has experienced this before. Customer experience involves customer cognitive, emotional, behavioral, and sensorial responses. So it has a lot of responses here. Responses from the customer and responses from the service provider or product provider, okay, or the supplier. So it is a culmination of every interaction, direct and indirect, a consumer has with an organization before, during, and after a purchase. In this case, customer experience is basically every interaction. Now, in today's hospitality, or we're talking about business, any business basically, we're talking about interaction in terms of direct and indirect. So sometimes direct and indirect happen during or before, during, and after a purchase or after the process. Okay, and customer experience therefore is very subjective and abstract. It involves a lot of intangible issues here. Okay, similar like service, hospitality is also service. So much, a lot of I call it situation involve intangible things there. Now, I borrow from Bonnie Knudsen here, a professor of hospitality. She says about what is customer experience. It is an elusive and indistinct notion. It is a difficult construct to define, let alone measure, because of its multiple elements and individualized personal nature. So she gave you an example. Think about last time you went to a movie with someone. You both sat in the same theater, ate the same popcorn, and saw the same film. Yet you each walked out with a totally different experience. All right. So because why? Because this is unique. Because each consumer is unique. Each person brings a different background, values, attitude, and belief to the situation. Everyone experienced it through individualized rose-colored glasses. So what she meant was that we have our own preference, we have our own interpretation when we're talking about experience. That's why, although we visit the same place, although we eat the same food, you might have different experience with other person. Compared to others. Okay, now we talk about nature of hospitality business. So hospitality business itself is very experiential and encounter-based business. A lot of people argue that this is service. Yes, of course, it is service business. But in terms of contextual, hospitality business involve product, services, facilities, space, and people. So these are the elements of hospitality business, not only service. Mind us, okay, we have to check that hospitality itself is not 100% services. It involves all these elements. So I'm talking about contextual element, product, services, facilities, space, people. So what do you take, what do you feel, where do you go, who do you see, who do you interact with, for example, and where you have the interaction. But there are a lot of combination here. So the experience will be, I call it, influenced by all these elements. Okay. So in the contemporary business environment, so nowadays, basically we are talking about superior customer experience is very important, so that we can get customer loyalty and achieving a competitive advantage. If you can provide good customer experience, in other words, we say memorable customer experience, so you may have your, I call it, upper hand on or to gain customer loyalty, and you may have a good competitive advantage over your competitors. Okay, customer experience, or in short form, you can call CX, reflect the customer journey through all interactions with the firm, pre-consumption, consumption, and post-consumption. So customer experience is more than the result of a single encounter. It is affected by every episode of the customer interaction process with the organization. If we imagine your visit to a hotel, for example, in this case, your experience will consist of a number of elements or a number of encounters, starting from you enter the hotel, you check in, you get your key. All right. In the process itself, you are facing the person who checked you in, for example. Okay. And then you went to the room, you look at the room, how comfortable it is or not. So you make your own perception about comfort, about the design, about the facilities, things like that. So first part is at the front desk, second part in the room, for example, and then if you went down to the coffee house, for example, the restaurant, you eat the food, you receive the service from the service provider or the waiter or waitresses, for example. And then let's say, for example, tomorrow you check out. So when people ask you what about your experience, so you will try to imagine all those encounters that you have encountered, for example, all the process from the check-in, the room, the restaurant, and so forth. So only then you can reflect your experience. Okay, and it is also a reminder that customer experience is often co-created through interactional activities between the customer and server. So go back to the service anyway. So experience is basically interaction with who? Of course, with someone normally or something. So you interact with someone at the front desk, for example. You interact with the room, for example, in terms of maybe the facilities, whether the TV is working, whether the toilet is working, for example, the hot shower is what I call it, produce hot shower, for example, things like that. So you have to interact. And this is basically the two-way interaction. Okay, in hospitality industry especially, it is a must to have the two-way interaction. Then only you may have a good experience. Of course, good interaction produce good experience. Okay, so development of experience basically happen at two stages. Okay, two stages. We're talking about pre-visit, before. Okay, experience that is expected to gain during and after the visit. So this is pre-visit, expected. Then the next stage it will be post-visit, actual experience gained during and after the visit. Okay, during and after the visit, you gain what you gain. First expected, what actually you gain. So a combination of this. Later on, I'm going to show you a model about the whole process of customer experience. Okay, right. It started with pre-visit or pre-consumption. So if you go to the restaurant, for example, what do you do first? So basically nowadays, we tend to go to a place where we know, okay, or at least we tend to find something about the place that we want to go. So you get some information about the place. Okay, so you want to go somewhere, so we talk about customer needs and wants. We get information from promotion, communication mix, from word of mouth, and from there we come up with image. Okay, so that is visit expectation. Right. Then post-visit or post-consumption, basically, where you evaluate the attributes performance at the place. We're talking about the features and facilities at the restaurant or the hotel and so forth. Of course, you also check the service and hospitality as a place, at the place. So attribute performance of features, facilities, service, and hospitality at that place will influence your experience, basically. Okay, so this is during or after your visit. Right, so what will happen after that? So all this assessment, you evaluate the performance of the facilities, the features, the products, the services there. So basically, you will come up with three main elements. Okay, you make three kind of assessment. This is results of this assessment. You make a perceived values. You will think whether you're satisfied or not. And then also, you will develop some kind of emotion. Right, thank you. Okay, so as the result of assessment of this performance basically will direct to perceived value, direct to satisfaction, will direct to emotion. So these are the three elements. Okay, I'm not going to describe all these things in details because this is another topic of service assessment basically. But this is the whole thing. I mean, your process, the process of gaining experience from this thing. Okay. So then, what happened next? Okay. The whole thing is called visit experience, basically. In fact, okay, when you assess all these things, it reflects in your mind what is the value you have perceived from your experience, whether you're satisfied or not. So what about your emotion? What sort of emotion that you get? Are you getting positive emotion or negative emotion? For example, are you happy or are you sad, for example, due to your contact or your encounter with the facilities and the service at the place, for example. So this is basically visit experience. So then normally you evaluate the performance, but you also compare your expectation. All right. So from visit experience here, visit expectation, you compare with the visit experience, actual visit experience. This is what we call total perceived experience. So this is the whole model of visit experience, basically, or consumption experience that may happen, especially within the hospitality industry or hospitality business. So operators, so whoever run the organization or the organization or the business basically should understand this. So people or customers, firstly, they will try to get information, okay, and then only they will compare their, from the information, they know something, they create their expectation. When they visit the place, they consume the product and services, they come up with visit experience and they will compare. So from the comparison, they will have either positive or negative experience. Okay, either will have positive or negative experience here. Okay, right. Okay, this is I have mentioned a bit just now. So from the first part, pre-visit or pre-consumption. So we have 4 elements here: customer needs and wants, promotion, communication mix, word of mouth, and image. So from this part, basically, the customer will identify the need and wants. So they are the one who want some things, and they are the one who will seek information, basically. So where do they get the information from? Communication, products and services, organization to customer. They will get information from the organization in terms of, for example, advertisement, especially. Okay, either you advertise in newspaper, you advertise in social media, things like that. So they will get information from this communication mix, right? Especially from the organization or from the company or from the organization, from the hotel thing, for example, in the case of hotel. Okay, customer get information from second party as well, word of mouth. So word of mouth basically nowadays is very popular. People will viral things anyway, right? So we have this is called word of mouth as well. Okay, word of mouth, there are 2 types basically: traditional word of mouth or electronic EWOM or electronic word of mouth. Online reviews especially. Okay, so we can take we can say that online reviews is part of EWM. Traditionally, you may tell your friends face to face, but nowadays with all these social media platforms, you can share your experience, or you can see people's experience, or you can get information from those platforms to form your perception about the organization, or about the product, or about the service offered by the organization. Okay, and the whole thing basically, the whole things will be set up in your mind as image. Okay, image set as perceived by customer from above sources. So I mean from all these, from these sources, especially from communication mix and from word of mouth. So these 2 are very, very critical for the customer to get some impression or expectation of the product or service. Okay. Now, next we talk about attribute performance. This is consumption experience here. Post-consumption to consumption experience. So here, customer engage with numerous products, services, facilities, space, people at the hospitality establishment or at the destination, basically anywhere. Okay, any establishment, especially hospitality establishment here we're talking about. So customer will engage with all those things. Okay, now, so let's imagine if you are a customer, basically, you will directly evaluate your encounter with this product and services. So we call it connective evaluation. So, I mean, if in Bahasa Melayu we say secara sedar, okay, we evaluate your experience. So this is what objectively you will evaluate your encounter with the product and services, whether it's good or not good, whether it's nice or not nice, whether you're happy or not happy, for example. Okay, so what is this performance? Is the performance acceptable, for example? When we're talking about performance here, whether it's acceptable or not acceptable, this is a very simplistic example of whether you can accept the performance or not. Okay, so from the evaluation, so evaluation outcome will lead you perceived value, satisfaction, and emotion. That's what I have shown earlier. Okay, so from this evaluation of the performance of product and services at the hospitality establishment, you will form your perceived value, you will formulate satisfaction level, and of course, it will influence your emotion later on, okay, as an experience. So experience also has all these things. I mean, especially emotion. Okay, now value again. Now we have three parts here. Value is often conceptualized as the consumer assessment of the difference between benefit and perceived sacrifice. So basically what you get, what is the benefit that you get from what you have lost? Loss is not to say loss in terms of really loss. It is just a term, means that whatever you spend, what did you get of what you have spent? For example, spending here does not mean only monetary here. Perception of gaining value is not exclusively monetary or cost, but also involve multiple dimension construct. So another way we can say that when we talk about value, not only about money, not only about price that you pay for something, but of course something that you have to sacrifice in terms to get the thing or to get the product or the service. For example, do you have to wait for some time? This is time, for example. How long have you to wait? Do you have to spend any energy, for example? Okay, for example, if you queue up, for example, face-to-face, you have to queue for quite some time. You have to spend energy, for example. So that is part of the sacrifice that you has to make to get the product or the service. So is the benefit that you get is worth or what you have sacrificed or not? This is what we talk about value. Okay. Satisfaction, basically. Okay. The two concepts of satisfaction, there are two concepts of satisfaction, basically. Either the expectancy disconfirmation or direct performance evaluation. So expectancy disconfirmation, basically we'll talk about, you will be comparing, you will compare what you expect with the actual performance of the product and service. We have talked just now about the actual, okay? From the perceived to get the perceived actual, or sorry, to get the actual satisfaction, basically you will compare what you expect and what you get actually. All right, then we call this one part. But the other way of evaluating satisfaction or gaining satisfaction is through direct performance evaluation. So because why? Because accurate expectation sometimes is difficult to establish, especially for service-based operation, especially if you don't have any idea about the product or services. So the best way of evaluating the performance is through direct performance evaluation. Okay, so through perceived performance of a product and services. So whatever being delivered to you, you will evaluate that whether it is acceptable or not acceptable. So that's how we call it, or this is a simplistic, we call a simple, I call it definition of how you make direct evaluation, performance evaluation. Okay, then we talk about consumption emotion. Okay, consumption emotion, basically the emotional reaction of one response to certain consumption. Okay, so basically we call consumption emotion there. Okay, observable emotion reaction developed from individual response to product and services. Okay, to keep things short, this simple like how do you respond to certain result of service or product that's sent to you. Okay, for example, somebody send a food in front of you, for example, if you order food, then you look at it, how do you feel? Simple as that. Okay, before you really consume. Or basically, if you consume the food, what is your emotion? Okay, we will say happy, nice, things like that, right? So we have those kind of things. So after you have consumed the product, the emotion that develop after you have consumed it, we call it consumption emotion. Okay, so we can categorize emotion either the simplest way, either positive emotion or negative emotion. Okay, so happy and then the opposite is sad, for example. So these are the negative and positive way of defining emotion, for example. Okay, this is what I have discussed just now, and the whole thing is in there. Right, now let's go back to COVID-19. So how do this thing, I call it, affect the business? Okay, so basically we're talking about the main thing of pre-visit. This we talk issue related to post-COVID pre-visit experience. Before you visit, what is the issue or what are the issues? Number one, information search and problem recognition. So you will seek some information about the place and how is it related to COVID-19, how the place react to COVID-19. Okay, I will discuss later on when we go through all these slides. Okay, the next, because why? They will anticipate risk management, how the organization manage the risk at the place. If you want to visit a hotel, for example, you want to seek information about whether they are being sanitized or not. Okay, how do they manage sanitizing procedures? I mean, in terms of the equipment and so forth. So 5, premise risk factor assessment. So what do you assess? So normally the customers will assess these 5 factors: human, equipment, external environment, internal environment, and management practices in terms of policies and procedures. So sometimes customers don't do this, but logically, those who are aware of the COVID-19, logically will look at all these elements. Okay, they will look at all these elements, they will assess the risk factor of these elements. Okay, I'll go through one by one. Human factor. So they will think whether all staff obey the rules related to COVID-19 SOP. Okay, they will seek information whether there is some evidence showing that the staff observe the rules and of the COVID-19 SOP or the pandemic era, for example, whether they sanitize the product, their hands, the equipment, and so forth. But the other way around, we have to see also, how about the customers? Do the customers obey the rules related to COVID-19, for example? Do they wear masks, for example, in a crowd place? Okay, what do they do? Okay, do they sanitize their hand, for example? Things like that. Does everybody practice good hygiene and cleanliness at the premise? So these are the things that related to human factor that the customer may want to know, right? Then for equipment factor, are the equipment in the working areas being maintained and handled as per COVID-19 SOP? All right, these are the things that you want to know. Okay, other facilities. If you're talking about a focus facility, like say a hotel, if you visit a restaurant, for example, they will be thinking other areas of the hotel. Are those areas being sanitized or not, for example? Do they manage the place according to the COVID SOP? So these are the things that the customer want to know. Right. External, is the external environment safe, for example, or whoever maintain the area using the SOP? Internal, the same thing. And we are not talking only the area, specific area, but you're talking about in general area of internal environment there. The people, the equipment, and whatever involved within the procedures there. But of course, we're talking about the management. It's being run by a management, a team of management. So do the management follow they're aware of the situation? Do they put great importance about safety of the staff and customer, for example? Okay. Does the management have practical contingency plan to control the spread of COVID-19 in the premise? Do the management monitor the practice of COVID-19 SOP standard strictly? So this is about practice. Customer want to know whether all these things being taken care or not. Do they follow the SOP in the first place, for example? But how do they know? Now, they will seek information maybe from the website or any I call it social media and so forth, or even they make some assumption based from their I call it search in the internet or from the word of mouth. Okay, so they will learn from that. So the management have to make sure that they publicize their efforts in terms of procedures, how they manage the premise during in term of this SOP, for example. Okay, so managing post-COVID customer expectation. So you need to understand needs and wants to develop and deliver product and services within health and safety procedure, of course. So you as a operator, for example, or the restaurant operator in this case, will need to make sure that you follow SOP in this case. Practice fair and truthfulness marketing. Okay, so make sure when you advertise, make sure that whatever you say, you will deliver. So you deliver information about health and safety procedures to deter or to control infection. So you make sure that you follow the standard yourself. And you tell the truth to people that yes, you follow the standard, things like that. So you make sure that people can have good expectation. Monitor and manage customer feedback and comments, traditional or online. So customer normally after they finish or after they have consumed the product and services, basically they make some comments. So you have to monitor, manage customer feedback, reply properly and all that, okay? Okay, especially related to hygiene and safety procedures. Aware of local and corporate image. So for you, for example, as an operator, basically you have to be aware that whatever happened in the organization will be image to you, right? So if you maintain and follow the SOPs, for example, people may have good comments. This is a good image for your organization. So this is for the organization. So this is how you maintain that, or to cover or to ensure that customer has good experience, they feel safe to come to your place. Managing performance, you have to ensure efficient and accurate product and service delivery. Practice good standard, for example, service quality, practice model, and make sure you have standard operating procedures. This must be very, very closely monitored by the management. Make sure that the staff, yes, you have the system, but staff is running the system, make sure that the system is working well and being operated properly. Okay? Focus on human capital. Okay, so you have to train your staff properly to make sure that they follow the procedures, they know what they're doing, and they know why they're doing that. The main thing here, when we talk about COVID-19, is the main issue is about risk and safety. So how you maintain or how you minimize the risk, how to make sure that people are safe when they want to come to your organization or your restaurant, for example, in this case. Okay, so we talk about conclusion here, last but not least. Customer commonly build their expectation towards visit consumption, toward visit or consumption experience through various medium from numerous stakeholders. So post-COVID customers seek information if the venue or outlet is safe. So the first thing that you have to learn is that if you are running a restaurant or hotel, the customer will be looking at information. They will see information whether your place is safe or not. Okay, and then we talk about consumption experience, engagement with product and service features through a series of responses. So customer experience itself is basically through a process, okay, series of process. Customer engage with product and services feature. Customer evaluate performance of the features. Evaluation outcome, they will come up with perceived value, satisfaction, and emotion. Okay, so that's the stages. And as the whole thing actually, in fact, are the premise, product, and facilities safe? Okay? Right. Customers usually compare what they have learned and actual experience. Performance of the product and service features that exceed expectation determine if customer had a meaningful and memorable visit experience. Meaningful visit experience will depend on the ability of the establishment to deliver a provision that can fulfill their needs and wants during the visit. Okay, the question here is that do customers get what is expected? What is actually delivered in line with COVID-19 business procedure over and above normal business practice? The main thing is that we or the customer wants things as normally what they get. But with COVID-19, the management has to put some extra effort to make sure whatever they deliver is safe to the customer, safe for the customer. Okay, So now the question is that from the customer point of view is that do the organization really provide or deliver what they expect, what they want in line with the COVID-19 procedure, so that they'll be safe, so that they can enjoy as normal as possible, right? So takeaway points, basically we talk about the hospital industry have a huge task in controlling the pandemic. Why? Because it involves a lot of people, it involves context between people. Okay? Managing post-COVID-19 customer experience involves understanding and anticipating about risk awareness and risk management, what the customer know, what the organization do to minimize or to handle risk. It also involves appropriate practice before and during consumption process. You need to be attentive to customer comments as organization or as the like a business. You have to be attentive to customer comments. What do they think about it? You have to think about, you have to look at the word of mouth, whether it is traditional or electric word of mouth. Your customers' comment related to COVID-19 issues may inflict the organization. So hospitality organization. Whatever they comment, basically, as I mentioned earlier, will reflect your image, okay? And that will inflict your organization as well. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Because we haven't got plenty of time, we just have 5 minutes for 2 questions maximum. Okay. For the audience who's going to ask the question. Okay, I have 2 persons in here. So it will be Mr. Andira first, I think.
Okay, Prof. Basri, my name is Andira Dwi Ranugraha. I am from Hotel Management in UB. My question is, in the post-pandemic era, for specifically hotel industries, what are the most important factors that a hotel must do to increase or to gain their customer trust? Thank you, Prof. That is my question.
All right. Can I answer now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, thank you very much, Andira, right? Okay. So the question is, how do hotels, for example, gain their customer trust, especially in the post-COVID-19 pandemic? Okay. Now, we can imagine that the hotel wants to operate as normal. Okay, as normal means that they have all the product and services there offered to their customers. But here, we have to think of the customer. In terms of customer, what do they want? They want everything there, plus something extra is whether the hotel can ensure their safety or not. Safety in the terms of that, will they be inflicted by COVID-19 when they visit the place? So here they want to know whether the hotel will be doing the necessary procedures to ensure that there is no risk of being infected by COVID-19. In this case, we're talking about whether they have upgraded their cleanliness standard, for example. Whether they have upgraded their facilities in terms of cleanliness and sanitation, for example. Whether the staff is aware of, whether the staff being given the right training to face this situation. 2 types of training. Number 1 is basically how to manage or how to deliver the product and services according to the pandemic-19 procedures, okay, in terms of cleanliness, in terms of sanitation. Number 2, how do you train the staff, the hotel? So they have to make sure, the hotel has to make sure that all staff being trained how to handle the procedures. Okay, so if those things can be delivered, which means that can be told to the customers, they can advertise, they can communicate to the customers that, look, we have tried all the possibilities to make sure your safety or the risk is minimized, and then the customer will feel a bit safe, or maybe they'll feel confident to come back. So that's one, in my opinion, that's one of the way. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Prof, for your explanation.
Welcome.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Desi, and thank you for Prof. Basri Rashid. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, what a great presentation. I'm so enlightened with the topic, Prof. One thing I want to know about marketing strategy. Will the marketing strategy in a hotel after post-COVID be the same as during with the COVID pandemic? Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I didn't get your name just now.
Will the marketing strategy in a hotel?
No. Okay. I got the question, but I didn't get your name.
Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Right. Let me answer this. Marketing strategy. Right. We will be talking about people want to go back to their usual practice. Now, we will see before COVID-19, the process is quite smooth, quite normal. Okay, but what is missing? People, at that time, of course, there is no COVID-19. Normal type of marketing strategy will be there. Okay, but another way of strategy is to make sure that, I have mentioned just now earlier, is that you have to communicate something more important to your customers, that you are ready for COVID-19, which means that you are taking all the necessary actions to eliminate or to reduce risk of COVID-19 in your place. Okay, that communication part is very important. Okay, so we communicate normally, we tell what we have, what we do in our premise, but one small element there must be added there, saying that we have special arrangement to make sure that we can combat or we can eliminate or we can reduce risk of COVID-19. I don't see much change, a lot of change in marketing strategy, but communication, make sure that that element of information is very important. So added information in marketing effort is very important. Not only to tell your products and services, but of course also you tell what have you done to combat or to eliminate COVID-19 or to reduce the risk of COVID-19. So that's one of the strategy to make sure that people know you are doing that. Then only people will feel confident to come to your place. The rest should be as normal. Of course, we're talking about what I call it online communication, advertisement, and so forth. That is normal. That is normal, but must be increased. Okay, people want to know more about what have we done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Basri. I'm so enlightened with the answer. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Thank you for Ms. Danias and also for the answer from Professor Basri Rashid. So we are already at the end of the session for the third invited speaker about the title Managing Customer Experience for Hospitality Businesses, Anticipating Customer Responses in Post-COVID-19 Era. So the conclusion is, for the first one, the points that how to gain the customer trust after COVID-19, that the hotel has to obey all the rules by the government and also the SOP about the safety during COVID and post-COVID. And then for the second one, about the marketing strategy, it will be the same. It's like you can do it online marketing and also offline marketing, but still the point is you have to pay attention to the safety in COVID-19 era. Right now already endemic actually, but the point is you have to pay attention to the safety of the customer. Okay, I think it's the end of the session. Once again, thank you for Professor Basri Rashid for the enlightening presentation, and also thank you for the audience and also the lecturers that has asked some questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We thank to Associate Professor Dr. Basri Rashid. That was very inspiring for us, right? And we also thank to Ms. Daisy as moderator that have moderated the material today.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. The next presentation is from Professor Dr. Ismail Rakib Karas from Karabük University, Turkey, with the title Innovative Approaches Specific to the Indoor Solutions for Smart Cities. These presentations will be guided by Rahmat Andriat Moko, SST, MT, as the moderator. To Mr. Moko, the time is yours.
Okay, check. Okay, thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So we enter the next session. For this session, we invite Professor Ismail Rakib Karas from Karabük University, Turkey. Good morning, Prof. Ismail.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Dr. Moko?
Okay, it's clear. Nice to meet you again, Prof. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you for your willingness to attend the Bravo International Conference on Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Creativity 2022. So before we starting for this session, I will review the profile or curriculum vitae from Prof. Ismail Karib Karas. Professor Dr. Ismail Karas is a professor of Computer Engineering Department and head of 3D Geoinformatics Research Group at Karabük University, Turkey. And he received his Bachelor of Science degree from Selçuk University, MSc degree from Gebze Institute of Technology, and PhD degree from GIS and Remote Sensing program from Yıldız Technical University. Professor Ismail was the member of Executive Committee and he has also carried out administrative duties such as head of Computer Science Division of Department, Director of Safranbolu Vocational School of Karabük University, Dean of Safranbolu Fine Art and Science Faculty in the same university. As a keynote speaker, Prof. Karas has been invited to the different high-level conference. He is the author of more than 100 international and Turkish publications, and he is also the editorial board of International Journal of Geospatial Knowledge and Intelligence, American Journal of Geographic Information System, and some others. And he has been involved in TÜBİTAK, EU, Europe, and other national and international projects, and got various awards and support during his research activities. For more information about Professor Ismail, you can visit in www.ismailkaras.com. Okay, for this morning, Prof. Ismail will present the topic with the title, Innovative Approach Specific to the Indoor Solution for Smart Cities. Okay, Prof. Ismail, you have 30 minutes to present your material, and then it will be followed by a question and answer for 10 minutes. Okay, for Prof. Ismail, time is yours, and for the audience, enjoy for this session. Okay.
Hey, you are hearing me, right?
Okay, we can see your...
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's clear.
Oh, okay. Thank you, dear Dr. Moko. It was so nice. It is so nice to see you again here after many years. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all participants. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear participants, dear top management of Brawijaya University, Fakultas Vokasi, dear chairs, committee members, moderators, the invited speakers, all participants and sisters and brothers. I'm so happy to be here to present here in your Bravo conference. Thank you for your invitation. Actually here in Turkey right now, the time is very early. Almost we passed the subh time, and this, you know, these times means barakah in your culture. So I wish barakah and fruitful conference for you in this Bravo conference. Thanks a lot again. Let me share my presentation.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, let me use this window. What you see? Okay. As you see, the title of my presentation is innovative approaches specific to the indoor solutions for smart cities. You know, smart cities are so popular nowadays. So one of the application for smart cities is indoor solutions, actually, indoor navigation, indoor GIS-based solutions. So suitable for the conference, I'm gonna mention about some innovative approaches about the buildings, about the indoor side of buildings. But before doing this, let me introduce with my university to the participants. My university is Karabük University. As you see on the screen, this is our campus. It is right northern part of the Turkey, as you see. We are right between Black Sea and Ankara city, the capital. Recently, we have been ranked by some important ranking institute for world ranking order below the 1,000, as you see here. This is the 2020 ranking results, and nowadays still we are around of 1,000. And this is my research group. As you see here, we have plenty of persons. Some of our PhD students, some of them master students, and some of still receive their PhD and working with me as a senior researchers, assistant professors, and as well. You can get information about my research group by using the upper link on right. This is one of the meeting. This is this photo from one of the meeting, our weekly meeting, and we organize until now. We organize many events actually as the group. One of them is organized in 2017, as you see here, the Geo Advances Conference. It was a big organization published in good journals, and another one is Turkish-German 3D Spatial Information Technologies Workshop in 2014, and recently we organized smart cities applications, smart city applications supported by Springer and ISPRS. So after this introduction about my university and my research group, let me pass to the topic. What I told, smart cities. Sorry, smart cities in the buildings. So some indoor applications. So now here I'm gonna mention about the network analysis for indoor. What's the network analysis on GIS? Actually, the people knows that this kind of knows network analysis as navigation-based things actually. So why we need navigation or network analysis based things indoor of a building. So as you see here, transportation could be can be needed for the indoor applications, or security, or visitor guiding, or emergency services such as disaster, accidents, and so on. You know, what I mean with transportation in indoor environment. For example, in a big building, such as big shopping centers, big hospitals, which has too much levels, too much stairs, too much corridors in a big field, in established a big field. So there could be too much paths or ways for the pedestrians inside. So I'm mentioning this kind of buildings, huge buildings. For example, some services can be needed in this kind of buildings. The garbage collection, for example, or package distribution. So if the distance for travel is too much, too long, you need to make a plan for the transportation, indoor transportation. Sometimes maybe you need to make a shortest tour inside of the building. This can be an example for the transportation inside of a building. Okay. Another one is security. If somebody coming from outside to the building, and if you wanna follow this person as the security, maybe you can use same system. You can give an ID or in a label to the visitor, and you can follow by using network analysis based systems. If the person go out of the route that he or she should go, you can warn the security persons, for example. Or visitor guiding. This visitor can be guided by some automatic systems, some navigation systems for indoor, and also emergency services. For example, if there's a fire, and an evacuation should be provided to the visitors or to the personnel of the building by using some automatic systems. The visitors or the personnel can fastly go outside by using the shortest path in different kind of disasters, accidents such as fires. So here I just want to give some examples what we did in this aspect. Okay, in this slide I summarized why we need indoor applications in huge buildings, and now I will give some examples what we did in this aspect. One of our projects is seen here. We gave this name to our project, a Smart Dynamic Evacuation System, shortly smart dynamic evacuation system, but if I mention longly, what is the idea here? It's a project that developing user-based intelligent building evacuation model for emergency cases by using intelligent control techniques and designing RFID-based three-dimensional mobile positioning and navigation system. Yeah, this is a little bit long, but to explain, you see the figure on lower side. Here you can understand the system actually. We have big buildings such as big hospitals, big shopping malls, big skyscrapers, and first what we did, first we are getting its floor plans. You see in the second order, the floor plans can be seen. By using floor plans, we are automatically generating the models of the building. Models of the building. What kind of models? 3D building model. This is the real how to say 3D by using some 3D modeling tools, we are producing the 3D view of the building. This is the first model, and the second model is network model. Network model means the network, the travel network of the building for the pedestrians. So as I told, inside of the building, there could be many corridors, many stairs, many elevators, many rooms. All these entities in the buildings can be linked by some links in a graph model, and we are calling this model as the network model. So by using a special method, this method is called as muscle model. By using this method, we are producing two building models. One is 3D building model, and another one is 3D network model. And we are saving these models in a geodatabase. So after the producing of data, we have a good geodatabase to be used for our system. So our system is run how? The system is actually user-based intelligent dynamic evacuation model. And you see there's a dynamic cycle here. During the travel of the occupants to be evacuated from the building, this dynamic cycle is continuously going. So our system is receiving some factors, some inputs. This is a real-time system actually, and these inputs are feeding to the system in each step of the evacuation. Okay, so the environmental inputs coming from the building, from the sensors, from smoke sensors and something else, and human-based factors are coming to the system from the mobile phones, mobile devices of the occupants. We assume that the personal information is already saved to the mobile devices of the occupants, and they are also feeding to the system continuously during the evacuation. So our system, by using these inputs, our system is continuously producing shortest path for the occupants, and this shortest path is personal actually. For each occupant, the shortest path could be different. So that's why this system is personal system. On the other hand, to follow and to know where is the occupant, we need a positioning system for indoor. You know, normally for indoor, there's no positioning system. For outdoor, we can use GPS kind of systems. We can use GPS and some other systems can be used in outside to define the position of the persons or the cars. But for indoor, we don't have a current positioning system. In the context of our project, we also developed an indoor positioning system. This is actually another part of our project. I'm not gonna mention in detail, but this system based on RFID. We set up many RFID labels in the building, and we use some RFID devices to define the persons inside of the building, to define the position of the persons inside of the building. So as you see, these three inputs are feeding to our system: environmental inputs, environmental factors inputs, human-based inputs, and RFID-based positioning inputs. These three inputs continuously feeding our model. By using these three inputs, our system is producing personal evacuation route, and these routes are instructed to the evacuees or occupants in the building by sending to their mobile devices. So after sending the instructions, as you guess, the people will move to go outside. So their position is continuously continuously change. So the system, that's why the system should evaluate the inputs again. So that's why there's a dynamic cycle here. Until when? Until all occupants are evacuated to the outside. So this is the general concept of our dynamic evacuation, smart dynamic evacuation system. If I give some other details about the system, how works our intelligent dynamic evacuation model, let me come to the structure of this intelligent system. Actually, we are using, we used artificial neural networks for this project. This project has been done almost 6-7 years ago. We completed this project. That time we used artificial neural networks, and as you see here, for the inputs for this network, we have many inputs on the left side can be seen, such as age, body type, wheelchair, fire, smoke, and link type. On the right side, as the output, we got we got the link usability rate, actually. Link usability rate. These rates are 5 levels, actually. Let me. I will give more detail about the rates, but first let me mention more about the input parameters. Input parameters could be 2 groups. As I told earlier, one group could be belongs to the human, the persons inside of the building. The other group, other input parameters coming from the environment, from the building, from the sensors and other devices. The inputs coming from the person's age, body type, heart disease, the person has or not heart disease problem, or has or not muscle disease, and others. He or she has wheelchair or not, has visual impairment, or elevator phobia, or dark phobia, or fire. He or she has a fire protection, gas mask, or light source. These all are the inputs for the pedestrian, for the person inside of the building. And other inputs to the feeding to the system, fire density, smoke density, power cut, population, light density, ramp, and link type. These are coming from the building model, and also coming from the sensors from the building, as we
Prof. Ismail,
consider. Yeah.
Sorry, we just have our time, 5-10 minutes left. Could you speed up?
Okay, let me make faster, inshallah. Thank you. As I told, our output is usability rate for a connection, actually. Which connection? Here you see some interface for the neural network training. I'm passing these slides, and coming to our model. We tested this model in this building. Actually, this is the building model of our tested field, and this is the network model of the building. You see, the building model is the 3D model of the building, what we see. But the network model, here you see the links and the nodes. This is the travel network inside of the building. There are many stairs, elevators, links, corridors, and you see here in yellow, these are the rooms, or is the entities in the building. And here you see a shortest path analysis in between 2 entities in our building. This is normal shortest path analysis, but if a extraordinary situation, I mean, if we wanna make an evacuation process, what is going on? What will be? So there's some waves from our simulations here. According to the scenario, you see in this point, you see very low risk in this link. In this point, the fire is started. When the fire starts, all the elevators are cancelled. All the elevators are cancelled to use. After this, the occupant is here, the big yellow point here. I'm not sure that you can use my cursor. I believe that you can see. So this big red point is the occupant, and in first step of the evacuation, as you see, the shortest path for this occupant is defined, and right now the first minute of the fire actually, and the occupant should go around 80 meters to the outside, he or she just started. Remaining distance is 77 meter, and the instructions are sent to the occupants. You see, keep going. And right now, the acceptable risk level in the building is low because the fire is right now not too big, and the occupant can go outside without touching to the fire. But later, maybe 2 minutes later, something is changed. The fire is going, the fire is distributed, and right now our occupants is right here. The remaining distance is around 40 minutes. And if he or she go in this path, sorry, you see there's a red link here. What does it mean? This link is under danger, so the occupant should not go should not use this link to go outside. Right now, the acceptable risk level of the system is low, but this link is medium, so higher than the acceptable risk level. That's why for the occupants, for the user, a new route to outside is defined. So this route is cancelled, and the occupants guided to another way to go outside, as you see here. Yeah, the system is running in this aspect. So as you realize, for the old building, we have an acceptable risk level, and for each links, you see there are many links here in this building, maybe thousands of links. For each link, we are producing risk level by using our artificial neural network. So, according to the system, what I explained at first, the system always continuously running and producing the shortest path, spatial shortest path for the occupants. I am finishing. Here you see some views from the mobile side of the application. The instructions are given to the occupants by their mobile devices, by voice, by virtual instruction, by photographs from the environment. To produce all these models, we use muscle model. In this slide, you see the details of this muscle model, but since there is no time, I'm passing this slide. We can also do different kind of network analysis by using the system. There are some screenshots from our tests, from our programs. And you see the occupant. This is another application, another network analysis application. And here you see how instructed the traveler inside of the building. These are some snapshots from our project process, some meetings, some setting up to the building for RFID labels. And lastly, we also did some other projects for the car parking. We developed an intelligent parking system for the multi-story car park fields by using similar kind of network analysis systems. Thank you for your attention. And lastly, I want to mention about our mention the conference which is organized by us. I'm one of the chair in this conference. This will be done in October 2022. You all are invited to watch or to participate to this conference. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your attention. You can reach for more information about our projects or our studies, works. You can use this link. Thank you, Dr. Moko. If any questions, you can go.
Thank you, Prof. Ismail, for your invitation to join your international conference. Okay, now it's time for the question and answer. We invite the audience in this room and in the Zoom room to ask question. Okay, Mr. Dewa and Ms. Salnan. Okay, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Moko. Prof. Ismail, my name is Dewa from Faculty of Vocational Studies, Brawijaya University. I have one question, Prof, about the transmission, or connection for the indoor connection. What the best choice, for the transmission that is using wireless?
For the what? What is the best option?
Option.
Could you please repeat?
What the best connection, sir?
What the best transmission, Prof?
Transmission.
Yeah. What the best transmission?
Okay.
Yes, connection for the indoor. That is option for the wireless, wired, or fiber, or cellular, Prof. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your question. In this project, we assume that the building is perfectly established for connection. I mean, we focused, we didn't focus the connection between the occupants and the building system, actually. We focused the solution for the network analysis, for the evacuation system. But on the other hand, in our project, we used wireless connection to reach the people. But as I told, this was not our first aim in our project. Our first aim, our main aim was the establish a smart system in the building. So this kind of smart to use this kind of smart application in a building, we need to be sure that the building properly established in many ways, such as connection, such as how to say, safety instructions, such as some smart devices, smart sensors, a proper positioning system, a proper and good communication system. Yeah, all these should be provided properly. Then we can use this kind of smart application. Thank you again for your question.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Ismail. And the next is, okay, Ms. Salnan.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Salnan. I'm from Brawijaya University. I want to ask
your name is, sorry, could you please repeat your name?
Salman.
Salman, sir.
Salman. Salman.
Salman. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I want to ask about neural network. How to define optimum neural network architecture, and if there are more nodes in hidden layer, will it give a better result? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. Actually, our neural network has been developed to reduce the calculation time. Normally, you know, I have already mentioned about inputs. We have human-based inputs and we have environmental-based inputs. Actually, totally 16 inputs. We have 16 inputs. By the considering all subcategories of these inputs, and when we calculate the risk levels of these inputs, we have almost 17 million different combinations. 17 million different combinations. So in our database, we have 17 million risk level risk values for each for the possibilities of each links of our building according to these inputs. To query these 17 millions is so difficult in the real time because our system is running in real time. So we need to get a response instantly. So to make query in this 17 million data was very difficult. That's why we use neural networks. So at first we split this 17 million data as the training data set and test data set. 80% of this data has been used for training and rest for test. So what is the output layer? The output layer is the usability of the link for each link of the building. For example, in our building, there are thousands of links, and for each link, there are some special values as input. For example, the smoke density in a specific link is different, for example, and the personal information for the occupants in this link is special for this person. So for this link, the values can be different, and for these values, the usability rate should be taken from the database. And usability rate is in 5 levels: very low, low, medium, high, and very high. According to the usability rate, we are using this link in our network or not. So to reduce this calculation time, we use the neural networks. So actually our data is very stable, and our data is very clean. The data is no problem. We are sure the quality of data, but it is very huge, around 17 million. To reduce the calculation time, we use neural networks. So that's why we didn't have any problem to get the results. Our neural networks was running very properly. So the hidden layers and other layers was working properly. I think I could answer your question, right?
Okay, Thank you, Prof. Ismail. I think it is enough.
Welcome.
Okay, we are at the end of the session. Thank you for Prof. Ismail for sharing your knowledge and experience. For information, Prof. Ismail will visiting our faculty, Universitas Brawijaya, at this month to attend the 3-in-1 visiting professor program.
Inshallah.
Okay, many thanks, Professor Ismail. See you at the end of August in
Welcome.
Malang. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Inshallah, inshallah, we will see, inshallah. I am sending my respects and my salam to all participants, to all friends, sisters and brothers. Thanks again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We would like to thank you to Professor Dr. Ismail Rakib Karas once again that has been delivered the useful presentations today. And we also want to thank to Mr. Moko as the moderator who have moderated these sessions perfectly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bravo 2022. And we will continue to the last presentation by Professor Dr. Unti Ludikdo, SA MSc AK from Universitas Brawijaya, Indonesia. With the title, The Challenge of Growing with the Creative Economy. This session will be guided by Susilawati Esos MAB as the moderator. To Miss Susi, the time is yours.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the presentation today is about the challenge of growing with the creative economy. Now I will read the agenda for this session. The first session is 30-minute presentation by the speaker. The next session is question and answer session with duration 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let me tell you about our speaker today, Professor Dr. Unti Ludikdo, SMSc AK. For educational background, Prof. Unti graduate doctoral degree from Universitas Brawijaya in 2005 in the Economic Study Program with a specialization in Business and Professional Ethics. Well, for the academic position as Professor of Business and Professional Ethics was achieved in 2012. The experience in possession and additional tasks at Universitas Brawijaya are as follow. 1. From 2022 to now, he served as a Dean of the Faculty of Vocational Studies, Universitas Brawijaya. In 2016 until 2020, the Dean of the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Universitas Brawijaya. For experience in judgment in business and professional organization, in 2022, he served as an accreditation assessor at the Lamemba. In 2017 until now as a founder and member of the supervisory board of the Dean of the Social Science Forum Third Indonesia. For award ever received in 2019, Prof. Unti received the Satya Lencana Karya Satya 20 tahun. For scientific article, around 62 articles have been published, including in 2021 with the title Social Capital, Business States, Business Type, and Indonesian's Mass Performance, a multi-group approach in global business and management research. He has 7 book publications. This is just a glance profile of Prof. Unti. So to shorten the time, the next agenda is the presentation session for Professor Dr. Unti Ludikdo, SMSc AK. Prof. Unti, please take your time in 30 minutes to present your topic. Monggo, Prof.
Thank you, Bu Susi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Afternoon for all participants. Thank you for organizing committee. Invite to me to join with all participants to discuss about the entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation. In this session, I would like to share or to discuss about how we can grow in our life with creativity. I think it is a good idea for us because, especially for vocational studies in Brawijaya University, we are focusing in academic curriculum and about our research to three issues: entrepreneurship, creativity, and innovation, especially in economy, creative economy. Okay, I will share my presentation. Clear, Bu Susi?
Yes, bro.
Okay. The challenge of growing with the creative economy. We are knowing that the pandemic has big impact to our life up to date. And today, COVID-19 also exists in our environment with the new variant. So, not ending today, I think. And we know that the pandemic share dramatic change and deepen inequalities. Yes, we feel how about our health, how our economic rating, and this is indicate that our health and economic is a crisis. Then the border closures in many countries, especially in many cities, I think. When we go to the other place, we have to show our vaccine certificate and the other certificate, so we can go on. The other situation, the city or the area and country have to lock down. Yes, many countries, when the COVID pandemic exists, would be lockdowns. The impact, the other impact, mass job losses. Many people lost job, and then many people lost revenue. It is the big problem for us in the pandemic situation. And in our academic environment, the curtailment of educational activities happen. So we have to try with other model to run our academic process. It is the draw about the negative impacts of COVID-19 in the world. You can see that red color. It is the big problem countries. You know, most of countries in the world, the real GDP growth is very low, up to negative 15 up 70%. Fortunately, Indonesia just about 0 up 5%. I think it is yes, more better than the other countries in the world. How about the unemployment? We can refer this data. Many countries have to face unemployment rate to be rise, increase. Like us, Brazil, you know, is on the data from about 11.9% up to 13.4%. The biggest, I think, in the United States, from 3.7% up 8.9%. Also Canada, from 5.7% up 9.7%. It is not good condition for the country. So unemployment increase, the social problems also increase. So what is then done to respond to this situation? Key to success in the notion of embracing uncertainty and using directed and emergent creativity toward the ultimate goal of developing breakthrough solutions to wicked problems. We have to be exit from our condition. COVID-19 is dynamic, uncertain, and wicked problem that must be addressed with an extensive suite of creative and innovative solutions. So we have to move to find the solution with our life situation, from dark to be more excellent situation with creative and innovative way. Yes. Otherwise, the COVID pandemic have two positive impact. It is blessing in disguise, I think. Based on our experience in 2 years ago, we can see about the massive accelerated innovation, and particularly the adoption of new technologies. I think it is I have to say, the positive impact of the COVID pandemic. And then compressed adoption cycle from years to weeks. So a few of our mode of work more shorter than before COVID-19. So in the statement, we can say the cycles from years to weeks because more shorter. Yes, and then changing the way all sectors work. The second statement and the third statement is very related, because today we can like decision. We arrange our conference with hybrid model. I think it is one of sample changing the way of our handle to something like as our conference, I think. Yes. Okay. We have see about the our solution problems with creative innovation. What is innovation? Innovation is about doing differently. The successful introduction of new ideas to improve or create a process, an outcome, a product, or knowledge for the benefit of an organization or a society, and it is stakeholders. This definition or this meaning about the innovation is more big scale, I think. Yes, this is about how we do something differently. So we can to improve our product, our services, and the others. This is innovation. So we can explore what kind of innovation. Maybe today we just refer that innovation just about digitization, just about how we do something with IT tool or with digital tools. No. The innovation involves change in processes. Innovation cover the development of new business models. And the innovation also about how we result new approach to work. So we can say that innovation is a broad terminology, I think, rather than before pandemic, I think. So the pandemic to open our mind about the innovation, because in the pandemic era we can see many innovation that just not about digitization, but the change in process, like as we sell something maybe about food, our fashion maybe, yes, with the not we open shop, but we open with online process, I think, yes, or with our phone we can buy something and the others. And then when we discuss about the creative economy, what is the creative economy? The creative economy is an ecosystem that comprises a wide range of occupation disguised by the generation of wealth and job through individual creativity, driving generation and use of intellectual property. So we have to know that creative economy is an ecosystem, not just one system. Okay. Yes, this is kinds of creative economy. This is of area of creative economy. This is a field of creative economy. Maybe you can find the other perspective. It's okay about the field of creative economy. or the kind of a creative economy. Yes, based on my reference in Kemenparekraf Go IT, I show you about the kind of creative economy. TV and radio, creativity in the TV and radio, I think it is cover creative economy. And then fit in music and film. Music and film. Now we can see the film from our laptop, our notebook, our PC, not just from bioscope or theater arena. And you can see much of production of film and music. So we know about the what we can say indie production, I think. Yes, yes. This is about the creative economy. And then advertising and marketing. Advertising and marketing is the one of biggest area in the creative economy. Architecture and design. We can show about the design in product, design in product cover, interior design, fashion design, and the others. Then fit in craft and art. Craft and art. Then photography. Photography is one of kinds of creative economy too. So if you have passion in photography, please, let's do. I think it is the big prospect to us to yes, to generate income. Okay, creative roles in the IT sector. Yes, maybe we can say that creative economy cannot spirit with IT tool, maybe, and into the times, I think. Yes. Then fashion, like Asbu Susi, yes. She likes to yes more models, I think. Yeah. It is the example about fashion can be our prospect to generate income. Okay. And then publishing. Okay, publishing. So we find about the online news, the online information, product by more party, more person, more individual, I think. And then culinary. Yes, culinary. Culinary is one of biggest part in the creative economy in Indonesia, especially. Why creative economy important? Maybe we have question about this. The creative economy is valuable to the extent that it is association with individual creativity implies that it often involves the creation of new knowledge, which will create wider benefit through spillover to other sectors. So creative economy can make a mix sector to generate the value added, I think. So the in creative economy, we cannot just think about the one sector, but we can doing something mixed with the other sector. Like us, when we say about the digital IT, we can implant to tourism. We can implant to film. We can implant to music and the others. So the benefit wider than just we think about one sector. That is the value added. We think about the creative economy. Now, I try to show about the growth of creative economy in the world and in Indonesia. Based on study in Germany, UK, France, Italy, Spain, Turkey. This is a representative in Europe, and Japan, South Korea, and Australia. This is a representative in Asia Pacific countries. We find that the creative economy employed nearly 20 million people in 2018. This data based on 4 years ago. I think it is not change or very big today, I think. It has been growing faster than the wider economy, with the total employment is up 4 million from 2011 up to 2018. It is the big number, I think. Then, growth prospect of creative economy based on data from Deloitte. Okay. When the extrapolating from a real trend, so that the creative economy could grow 40% by 2030. The big number grow up 40%. And adding more than 8 million additional jobs. Wow. The data based on a report by Deloitte about the future of the creative economy. Deloitte joined with Netflix Corporation to predict about the future of creative economy. And how about the potential of creative economy in Indonesia? Based on focused economy outlook 2020 data, the creative economy contribute 1.100 trillion Indonesian rupiah to Indonesia's gross domestic product throughout 2020. So we can see that the contribution by the creative economy sector is big and has the good prospect to our GDP, GDP. Likewise, business actors in the sector also continue to grow, reaching as many as 8 million players. We can underline 8 million players and also absorb 17 million workers. 17 million. This is data based on 2020. I think no grew up, I think. Even Indonesia is now asked to be the third largest country in the world after the United States and South Korea about the growing in creative economy. So, what is the important to maintain potential growth in the creative economy? There are entrepreneurial skills. The actors in creative economy have two skills. Based on United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the statement I think is about the 10 years ago, but this is still relevant up to date. That the actor in creative economy have to cover these skills. Okay, working in a team. Yes, personal competencies. Okay, working in a team. self-confidence, self-awareness, calculated risk-taking. So when you you will try to do in creative economy, you have to calculate risk taking. Then problem solving capabilities, creativity, of course, creativity, thinking as employer rather than employees. Okay? Thinking as employer rather than employees. So please thinking when you are boss, not employees. Okay. Then dealing with uncertainty in an enterprising way. We are too greedy about the uncertainty. So we cannot in a status quo situation. This is personal competencies, about the personal competencies. And then core operated skills, about numeracy, accounting, communication, information and communication technology, rudimentary knowledge of local commercial law and governance principle. I think it is additional skills for us if we go to creative economy. And then the last, business and management skills. I think competitive advantage analysis, market research, business plan development, marketing, financial management, sales and human resources. Maybe this typical, the skill cannot attribute in one by one person. So we have to do collective mode. We have to work together with the others. The actors in creative economy have to work in a team. Thank you, Bu Susi and all participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Maternon Prof. Unti, for sharing your topic about the challenge of growing with the creative economy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are come to the question and answer session. Any question from participant who attend in ballroom or Zoom? Okay, Bu Ica, please introduce yourself before you ask. Okay.
Please don't give me difficult
question.
Okay. Yeah, please don't difficult question.
Please,
okay,
ya,
thank you.
Ica.
My name is Ica. I'm one of the participant of Bravo.
Kurang keras ya, merotli.
Yes. Okay, Prof. As previously explained by Prof. Unti, gitu. According to Prof. Unti, how the creative economy can contribute to the welfare of the society.
Okay, how to the creative economy contributes to the welfare of society.
Yes.
Monggo, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ica. When we look at in the PPT in the slide, I think we can see that the creative economy have a big potential to grow, to increase welfare in our society. You know that based on data, in 2020, creative economy contribute about the 1.100 trillion. I think it is the big amount, I think. And about the how many actors involved in business based on creative economy, reaching as many as 8 million players. And the 8 million players involved or absorb 17 million workers. I think it is big, big numbers of workers, I think. And no, this has grow up. I am sure about this. In the world is the same situation. Based on the Deloitte data, in 2030, the creative economy will grow up to 40%. And the potential job at 8 million wages. This is a chance of creative economy to contribute increasing welfare in our society. Thank you. Susi?
Okay, thank you, Prof. Any question from another participant? Oh, okay. Pak As, monggo, please introduce yourself before you ask. Monggo, Pak As.
Check, check. Okay, quick question from me, Professor Unti Ludikdo, and I have an interesting question because we need a job right now because the pandemic hit us all. Yeah, I think the additional jobs when facing the pandemic, it's quite difficult. Yeah, so what do you think about creative economy creates more job? Is it beneficial for us? Is it good for us? Or is another challenge? As we know, most of us are online educators or online students. It's difficult for them to maintain their technique or their life skill to get a job. So, do you think it's going better or not? And what is your opinion about it? Thank you.
Okay, so complete question for Pak As. Thank you, Pak As. The question is about creative economic can create a job because it's very difficult for online student to get a job like that. Yes. Monggo, Prof.
Yes, I think it is really difficult to answer, Pak As. And we think we can design specific discussing Vokasi in Vokasi. But if we try to to review about this statement, because the creative economy is just speak about one sector or one thinking about something. So when we think about our classical model in our mode of mode of learning process, we cannot find about the relation to creative thinking. So when we involve IT, when we involve film, when we involve maybe the craft or the part of art, the other arts, maybe we can create creative education mode, I think. So like us, Butiti create the innovation of Butiti with Naung Ilmu.
Butiti?
I think, yes, I think it is one of modes of answer about the Pak Aas question to me, I think.
Butiti?
Yes, the others, like us Pak Arif creation, Pak Arif innovation about the metaverse tools. So we can do something beyond our thinking now. Thank you, Bu Susi.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Maybe the question is enough for us now because there have a lot of questions regarding this topic. Please leave your question in Zoom chat or in the Google form, so we will answer one by one and send it to your email. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally we are come to the last agenda. We would like to say thank you for invite speaker, Professor Dr. Unti Ludigdo SE MSc and all the audience for active participation in the ballroom and Zoom meeting. I will read out the conclusion of presentation today. The creative economy is an ecosystem that comprises a wide range of occupation distinguished by the generation of wealth and job through individual creativity driving the generation and use of intellectual property. The creative economy is valuable to the extent that its association with individual creativity implies that it often involves the creation of new knowledge, which will create wider benefit to spillover to other sectors. Hopefully, the seminar from Prof. Unti will give benefit for us. Thank you for your attention. Stay healthy and see you. Bye. Thank you, Prof. Unti.
Thank you, Bu
J. Back to MC. Thank you. Waalaikumsalam, Prof.
We would like to thank Professor Unti Ludigdo for giving the best presentation. And thank you to Ms. Susi as the moderator who have guided the presentation of the material.
Ladies and gentlemen, next was is the first parallel sessions. To every participant, please kindly check the parallel sessions list that has been given before.
Whether in Bromo or Semeru, or maybe if you are confused, you can contact our CP. If you are in Bromo, you can contact Miss Sylvie. And if you have in the Semeru room, you can contact Miss Desi. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, now we have come to the end of today's conference. Don't forget that tomorrow we are going to have other great speakers and also we'll bring awesome topics.
Exactly, Putri. We as today's Master of Ceremony would like to say thank you to our great speakers and also to all of the participants who already joined with us from the beginning until now. Before we close the first day conference, as today Master of Ceremony, we would like to apologize if there were any mistakes and improper attitude.
Let's close the first day conference with Hamdallah together.
Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin.
See you tomorrow and
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So please, for all of you guys, go to Bromo or Semeru room and check a list place. And maybe if you are confused, please contact our CP, Bu Silva or Miss Desi, right?
Exactly. And good luck for your presentation of paper presentations, right?
Right.
And see you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. For Bromo 1 in our left and Bromo 2 in our right. Okay, thank you.